Hey everyone, so I just got back from seeing X-Men Apocalypse, and it was really good. Um, a lot of reviews have been saying it's not good, or just getting mixed reviews, and it did make 100 million, 115 million or something like that, I think. I looked it up already, and well, today's the opening day. I actually went to see it at 9:30. Right now it's like, it's 12 something, because the movie's like 2.5 hours almost. Um, I saw it at 9:30, and ticket prices were really cheap. The theater I went to, I guess movies that you go see early are a lot cheaper. I didn't know that because I only see movies at nighttime. But I figured I'd go see this early just because a lot of seats, all the seats were still available. Like if you buy seats online, reserve seating and whatnot, all the seats were available when I bought the tickets. So I said, all right, I'll just go early. It's not a big deal. So I went and saw the movie, and it was really good. Um, I want to say it was a good continuation after Days of Future Past because it seems like they're sticking with the young cast for now because they said the next movie's going to be in the 90s because First Class was set in the 60s, Days of Future Past was the 70s, and then this movie was in the 80s. And then they're saying the next movie's going to be in the 90s if they do continue with this cast. Um, I have to say too, when I noticed, especially the amount of characters were in this movie, I think this movie has the most characters. I was saying something similar about this about Civil War when I saw Civil War. That was a very big ensemble of characters and whatnot. But this movie also felt like that. Like there's so many characters in this movie. You had Nightcrawler, Jean Grey. You had Cyclops. You had Havoc. You had all kinds of people. Um, and Apocalypse, I want to say something about Apocalypse, the character. Um, he actually wasn't as bad as like I want to say too. Actually, so let me segue. The trailers for this movie honestly did not like get me excited or many people excited to be honest. Um, but the trailers like didn't do this movie justice. Like this movie was really really good, and the trailers just made it look like stupid. Well, not stupid, but just didn't make it made it look like whatever. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I thought this movie was really good. Apocalypse, I was gonna say. Uh, he wasn't like because like when you saw early pictures of him or whatever, like you thought he looked like Ivan Ooze from Power Rangers. Like he looked silly, like this big purple guy. It turns out in the movie he's not really purple. He's like bluish, but like I didn't mind his look. Like he was fine. Like he looked okay. He looked fine. I didn't mind how he looked. Um, and the opening too was really different. Like it took place in like 3000 BC or whatever. I'm not gonna spoil anything until the end of this video. I'll let you know when I'm gonna spoil stuff. But the opening of this movie, they introduce Apocalypse and whatnot, and I thought it was a really cool concept of how Apocalypse has existed for so long. I don't want to give it away, but they tell you, and it's really interesting. Um, and the whole opening was awesome. Like it showed like Cairo or Egypt or whatever, 3000 BC, and it was cool. Um, and it set up the movie really well. What else can I say? Wolverine is in this movie. That's not a spoiler because he was at the end of one of the trailers. If you didn't know that, I'm sorry, but it's only a small part because obviously Hugh Jackman said he was going to play Wolverine one more time, but then decided to do a cameo for this movie. So I guess he didn't want to. Well, I mean, I guess they just couldn't incorporate him enough. The movie was fine without him in it, for the whole thing. But his part was fine. I didn't mind it. It was like a little more than a cameo. Like it was a small part. Don't get me wrong, but it was worth it, I guess. Not much as like Spider-Man was in Civil War. That was a lot bigger than what Wolverine was in this movie. But Wolverine did get some good time, so it was okay. Um, so yeah, it was cool seeing him in there. Um, it was just cool seeing all the X-Men together fighting and stuff again. Because Days of Future Past wasn't really a huge like team movie. You know what I mean? There were the scenes that took place in the future where they were fighting the Sentinels and whatnot, but it wasn't really like a team. Well, it was teamwork and stuff, but in this movie, it's the legitimate team and stuff. And Quicksilver is in there too, and he was really good in this movie. I thought he was better in this movie than he was in Days of Future Past because he actually had more screen time in this movie also, and of course, there was that whole scene where he's the whole big scene where he's gonna, run around and everything's in slow motion. He's running super fast, doing whatever. Days of Future Past, that was a great scene but in this movie, I think they upped it. Like it was a lot better. Like it was a lot funnier and there's more to it and it was longer. The whole scene where he's There's another one of those scenes where he's saving the day, kind of. Um, and yeah, he was there as one of the X-Men, and he was actually fighting alongside with them. So that was cool. What else can I say? I like the way they they show you, because this is 10 years after the events of what happened at the end of Days of Future Past, where Mystique saved the president and whatnot, and Magneto's in hiding, and it's interesting. I don't want to spoil it, like I said, but what route they chose to go with every character, like where they are right now. Professor X was doing well with the mansion, and it was cool seeing all the just the students at the mansion and stuff like that. When he was a lot younger, and he's in the wheelchair now, and you still got Beast in there. You still got who else you got? Well, Havoc, I said, was in there too, which was cool. So yeah, and the action was really good. The special effects were really, really good. Like I said, I don't really have anything to complain. I don't understand the negative reviews this movie's getting. I'd have to read them. I just know it's been getting negative reviews. I didn't read the reviews though because I didn't want to know too much. I can't really think of anything that was I could noticeably say. Well, I guess you could say some of the characters weren't developed enough. Like Psylocke, Olivia Munn, she was good in the movie, but she got no development really. Certain characters didn't get enough development, but some though got a lot. Cyclops got a lot, Jean Grey got a lot, Nightcrawler, and I like the young cast, even younger cast. What I mean, the new people, the people playing Nightcrawler, the guy playing Nightcrawler, what's her name from Game of Thrones, playing Jean Grey, Sophie Turner, right? Sansa Stark, and whatever his name is playing Cyclops. They all did a really good job. And the guy playing Angel, too, was good. But he was also one of those characters that didn't get much development, really. And Mystique was good. Everybody was good. Xavier. Honestly, Xavier, he was in the movie a lot, but honestly, he didn't, I don't know, he didn't do much towards, well, no. I don't know, I just saw the movie, so, I don't really know how to feel about it, but, he did have a big contribution to, the whole, I take it back. He had a big part of the movie. I was gonna say he didn't, contribute much. No, he did. I think about it more. So, yeah, it was really good. And I just want to say, I love, Michael Fassbender's Magneto. That is, a perfect casting as a young Magneto. Don't get me wrong, though. I love everybody else. James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, everybody that was casted as the younger mutants were really good. But I really, in all these movies, but I really, really love Michael Fassbender's Magneto, throughout all three of these movies he's been in. Just really, really good. Knocks it out of the park every time. Because when I saw Days of Future Past in the theaters, when he lifted up the baseball field and dropped it around the White House, that was the coolest thing ever. Oh man, I was marking out during that. I was oh man, Magneto's so cool. And in this movie, he's phenomenal again. Michael Fassbender needs to win an Oscar. I mean, geez, he's one of my favorite actors, for sure. I don't know what else to talk about really, and I honestly don't understand why people give it negative reviews. I have to look into it more because I haven't watched any YouTube video reviews like this one. I haven't watched any reviews like that or read any on written reviews or anything like that. So, yeah, and there is an after credit scene which I'm assuming would set up the next X-Men film. I'm not sure. Well, I'll talk about in the spoilers when I'm not sure it's setting up because it could set up something else also. I don't want to say, but I would assume it sets up the next X-Men movie. So yeah, another solid entry. I did a vlog on the way to the movie theater when I was gonna go see it earlier, and I was talking about how this series has continued to last so long because it's been around since 2000 was the first movie. And it's had its ups and downs. People like to point out The Last Stand was bad. It was bad. Origins Wolverine was bad. But then all of a sudden, First Class came out, and that like brought everything back. And that was intended to be a reboot, if you think about it. And what happened? They did that, and then they did the next Wolverine movie, which is good in my opinion. They got mixed reviews, but I thought it was good. And then Days of Future Past just got crazy good reviews also. So this series like was at a very low point, and then it was brought back up just because of those few movies. And it's funny to think because like it was intended to be a reboot, First Class, but it ended up being merged into the original story. So yeah, it's a really cool thing. Like I pointed out also like Ash versus Evil Dead, because when the Evil Dead remake came out a few years ago, everybody thought it was bad apparently. So that was intended to be a reboot or a remake or whatever, and then they ended up going back to Bruce Campbell in the new TV show. So it's like like some franchises can like survive even though they were intended to be rebooted. Like also like Fast and Furious, the Tokyo Drift I think was supposed to be like a reboot kind of like they're gonna do different stories, but they ended up going back to the old thing. So X-Men, Fast and Furious, and Evil Dead are like some examples of stuff that can survive a reboot. Certain things can't survive a reboot. So yeah, it's just interesting to see how long this series has lasted. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Deadpool is technically part of this series, and that was awesome. So yeah, a lot of really good movies so far. Bringing this franchise back up, and I hear they're going to do TV shows too and whatnot, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe has all these TV shows and all these plans. I don't think it'll ever get to. I don't think it'll ever get to that level. This franchise, but I definitely think it's what am I trying to say? It definitely has its own like place. Like it's not completely diminished because of the MCU being so large. This franchise is still good and it's still going. I don't know if they're trying to compete with the MCU. I don't know if they could win, but it's still going good. It's still going strong, which is awesome. So yeah, yeah. I don't know what I should rate this movie. I would say an 8 or 9 out of 10. Like it was really, really good. I notice about myself after I see a movie, I like it a lot more. But right after I've seen it, I'll like it a lot more than I will, down the line when I've had time to think about it and whatnot. I'm probably not going to like this movie as much when it comes out on Blu-ray, and I've seen it 10 times already. But I will say right now I'll give it like an 8.5 out of 10. Like I don't want to say 9, just because I know in the future I'm not going to think it's a 9. Like I had the same feeling after I saw Days of Future Past. I still love that movie, but after I saw it in theaters, I definitely would have gave it like a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. Now I would just give it like an 8.5 or an 8, to be honest. But that movie's still great. I love it. So yeah, right now I would say 8.5 for X-Men Apocalypse. Not bad at all. Like really not bad at all. The only reason I wouldn't give it like a perfect score, no movie's perfect. I would give like something a 10 out of 10. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but I don't know. This movie, it's just because it's like it's a franchise movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like it relies on so many other movies before. It's like not a standalone like film. You know what I mean? You can't really just give it a 10 out of 10. It's what, the 9th movie in a series. You can't, no matter how good it is, I don't think you can like give it a 10 out of 10 and consider it one of the best movies ever made, because it's a franchise movie. 9 movies in. So yeah, I'm gonna stick at 8.5 out of 10. Definitely go see it, and don't forget, because I don't understand people. Anytime you go see a Marvel movie, you need to stay after the credits, even if it's not the MCU, even the Fox movies, the X-Men movies. There's always going to be a scene after the credits now. It's kind of like a thing. People in my theater were getting up as soon as the credits started. I'm like, why you leave? Like people were leaving. Not the majority of the people that were there, but like 4 or 5 people left. I'm like, why? Did you not like the movie? I don't know why you wouldn't. It was good. But I don't know. I'm just like a big fanboy. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I like the movie a lot. I'm just like a huge fan of this franchise. It's kind of hard for me to not like it. X-Men Origins Wolverine was bad. Like I recently rewatched it. Because I used to think, like, when I first saw it, I was, like, 13 or 14 years old. I used to think, oh, that movie's not so bad. I really enjoyed it. The whole Deadpool thing at the end sucked, but No, I rewatched it recently. It's bad. It's bad. I would say I like Last Stand better. I rewatched that also, and Last Stand is bad, but I kind of like it more than Origins Wolverine. Um, yeah. Um, and I will say Bryan Singer was he hadn't. I also noticed he hasn't made a bad X-Men movie. He did produce First Class, but that was directed by Matthew Vaughn. That was a great movie. Um, but him producing was his return back to the series, I believe, because Origins Wolverine, I don't think he had any involvement in. And The Last Stand, that was Brett Ratner, which sucked because Bryan Singer wanted to go direct Superman Returns, but he directed X-Men 1 and 2, which are great. Days of Future Past, which is great, and then this movie, which is great. So Bryan Singer, you're the man. Stick to it if you can. I don't know how much longer this series is gonna live, because you think eventually it's gonna get rebooted. Like there's no denying it. Like I don't know how many years away that is, but it's gonna happen. Even the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who knows? It's a long shot, but it's gonna be like who knows? 30, 40 years from now, it'll get rebooted because these actors can only play these characters for so long. It can only tell so many stories within one continuity before everyone's killed off or whatever. You know what I mean? That's why comic books, they've had different variations of characters so over the years. Like they have to constantly restart. And yeah. So yeah. I don't know what else to talk about. I will talk about spoilers right now. So go away if you haven't seen the movie. Yeah, go see it. It's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna talk about spoilers right now. If you want, after you see the movie, come back and watch this part so we can discuss in the comments or something, whatever. All right, spoiler time right now. Okay, so spoiler time. So did Havoc die? I assume Havoc died. I mean, yeah, they didn't show him at the end or anything, and I mean they rebuilt the house and didn't find his. Did they find his body? I don't know. So I assume Havoc did die, and which is, I mean, it's kind of refreshing too because these hero movies never kill off anybody, especially the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's been so many instances of people you thought died but didn't die. Like, prime example would be in the Avengers when Coulson gets killed. They make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. the TV show, they just resurrect him. And in the Avengers movie, that was like a big deal. That was a big emotional moment of the movie was when he got killed. And then, you know, Iron Man 3, you think Pepper Potts is dead at the end. Nope, she pops up. You think Happy Hogan's dead. Nope, he pops up. He's in the hospital. You think in Thor the Dark World, Loki died. Nope, he's alive at the end. Even in the first Thor, you thought Loki was dead at the end. Nope, he's still alive. What else? I'm looking over at the movies right now. I'm trying to think. It's like, oh, Captain America Winter Soldier. You thought Nick Fury died? Nope, he's still alive. Sorry if I'm spoiling all those movies for anybody who hasn't seen them. I'm assuming you have. I mean, who hasn't seen these movies? Who else? I'm sure there's more, but I can't think of them right now. But it's funny, isn't it? It's like you think they all die, but they don't. Well, they did kill off Quicksilver in, well, not this Quicksilver in X-Men. I mean, the one in Ultron. They killed him off, which was cool to see, because they don't have the balls to kill anybody. But in X-Men Apocalypse, this movie, they did kill Havoc, I assume. And they did kill Angel, which was surprising. I thought they were going to use him in like another movie or something. And they killed Apocalypse too, which I thought the way they took down Apocalypse was cool. And yeah, what else can I talk about spoiler-wise? I thought that Quicksilver scene, like I said, was really awesome. It was funny. I love the way it started out. It just showed Cyclops and Nightcrawler and whoever else in the car, and then everything was frozen, and then it showed like a bee, and then it shows Quicksilver just checking his watch or whatever, and then he runs to the mansion and saves everybody. That was really awesome. They outdid the scene from Days of Future Past completely. Like it was, and I love how it went on for so long too. It was really good because they knew it's like, oh, that's the best part of the movie right here. So let's make it as long as possible. What else? It's kind of, yeah. It's because I just saw it. I can't even think of specific things. I don't know. It's a really good movie. Man, what else can I talk about spoiler-wise? I thought that was cool how Apocalypse lives for so many years because he would always transfer into like a new body or whatever. That was interesting. I like that. I don't know. Oh, and is Psylocke? Well, she survived, but I guess she's gonna be a villain in the next movie if they bring her back. because she looked mad that he got killed. I guess she was still trying to. I guess she was still like kind of on his side, even though they broke the whole. Well, did Apocalypse like have a hold on all of them? Like, cause Storm saw him choking out Mystique. I guess that brought her back from from being controlled. I guess. Um, were they all? They were all controlled by him, weren't they? I guess Psylocke, the control broke over her, but I guess she was still kind of like siding with him. I don't know. Maybe we'll bring her back. And Nightcrawler was really awesome in this movie. He was funny when at the end when Professor X wakes up and shows more all the memories of them, and then Nightcrawler wakes up from after the whole teleporting everybody thing, and he was like, "Get down!" That was hilarious. So yeah, a lot of funny moments too in the movie. Man, what else can I talk about? There should be more. Oh, Wolverine. What was the deal with that? Why did he look like that? Is it's probably from a different a different comic book or something. Because I knew ahead of time that he was gonna look different in this movie. I saw a thing online that said that. So he came out with like this thing on his head and like screws going into it. I'm like, what is that? Is that something else? Because like this obviously is a different timeline. So he didn't. It's not Origins Wolverine where that's how he got his adamantium. They probably did something different to him, and he had whatever that thing is on his head. I'm gonna have to look that up later. But yeah, that was cool. Wolverine he had no lines. He had no lines, right? Like he didn't say anything. But he was still there. It was really awesome to see him, and I can't wait for the Wolverine movie next year because that's gonna be rated R. It's gonna be awesome, I'm sure. So yeah, Wolverine was cool in the movie. And then that after credit scene, Weapon X. I was gonna say, is that setting up the next X-Men movie, or is that gonna be part of the next Wolverine movie? I don't know. Because the Wolverine movie is gonna be set in the future. You know, when Days of Future Past, when he wakes up, and that's him again, and it's like 2020 something. That's when that's supposed to take place. And then the next X-Men movie is supposed to be set in the 90s. So I don't know if Weapon X is part of that movie. Maybe it is. I don't know. Or maybe it's not, because the next movie technically is Wolverine in terms of what's coming out. I don't know. We'll find out. So yeah. Yeah, really good movie. I don't think I have anything else to talk about spoiler-wise. Yeah, that's it. Alright, so yeah, leave a like, subscribe, whatever. If you enjoyed this video, comment, let me know, whatever. If you're gonna post spoilers, make sure you put spoiler alert, whatever. So yeah. Yeah, alright. Thank you for watching.